welcome back to Hermitcraft. Alright, well, last time out, got this thing up and going, and as a result, there were a few issues. Well, one in particular, that several people pointed out that this furnace, the fourth one from the end here, was not running. And I got to looking, and it turned out the answer was actually very simple. When I put this powered rail in, I had a lever right here on this side of the block. That caused it to also power this hopper, which kept that furnace from running. I moved the lever to this side, and that problem is gone. So that's a simple thing right there. The lever apparently activates stuff on both sides of the block it's on. How about that? Or both sides of the block that it occupies. Yeah. Anyway, this thing has been working pretty good. I've got a good amount of dried kelp here, and I'm going to go ahead and blockify that. Yeah. So that gives me definitely a good amount of dried kelp blocks. Right now there are 50 dried kelp blocks in each furnace. And the way this thing is working, the minecart with a hopper with 5 stacks of kelp in it will deposit 20 kelp in each furnace. One dried kelp block will smelt 20 items. So each block is one run of the minecart with hopper. And so, yeah, that's definitely good. It's taking 16 blocks to smelt 5 stacks, and 5 stacks is going to equal about 35 blocks of dried kelp. So it's using less than, well, okay, it's making a little bit more than twice the amount of fuel it takes to create it. So that's good. Also, I have noticed that this smelting array is smelting the kelp faster than the machine produces it. It's, you know, it's not growing as fast as it gets smelted. So what I'm doing right now is, oh crap. Now get up there. I am letting the hoppers fill. And the idea is I'm going to let this chest at the top get full too. And then once that is true, I will come over here and flip this on and give that cart a nudge and start this thing going. Just because I want to see how long it takes to empty out. It's taking a number of hours to fill up because it's not super duper uber fast. As for the bit about that Cub mentioned in his video about it, that it could produce a double chest of dried kelp per hour, I think this probably applies to single-player worlds. It is not producing that fast here on the server. As a matter of fact, in an hour, roughly about half a double chest is what it's producing here. But I do believe that it probably would work faster on a single-player world where there's a whole lot less area loaded at any one time. You know, that sort of thing. And so, meanwhile, you may have noticed everything's gone. That's because I lost it all. Again, I was off mining. Now, I've been playing this game since March of 2011. I'm very much aware of all the hazards of mining, and I take all the precautions you can take. But sometimes it happens anyway, and you fall into lava, and you can't manage to get yourself free until you get the "you're dead" message. Yeah. And then, again this morning, another lava incident, while I was out collecting buckets of lava. And at least that time I didn't lose anything, because I didn't have anything worth losing or worth being concerned about. I need to get some food too. Anyway, so in addition, while I'm waiting for the machine to fill up with kelp, I've also been doing some stuff up here with the farms. Basically, I'm getting ready for another trip to iTrade, because obviously I need to make everything all over again. Doggone, it's taking a long time to eat. So I'm making everything here into paper. I figure I should be able to come up with at least a full shulker box of paper. And then up here, I've been harvesting the farms, and yeah, they're due to do it again. And what I'm going for here is 2 shulker boxes each of wheat, carrots, and potatoes. And when I harvest these things, I also take a few minutes and go here and harvest the tree farm, because I've been running a little low on wood, and I figure, what the heck, I've got time. The very best is that it takes about 45 minutes or so for each of these farms to grow to full maturity and be ready to harvest. Kind of a pain in the butt, but what are you going to do? You know, yeah, sure, I could get a bunch of bone meal and nano farm it and whatnot, but I don't feel like doing that. I really don't. I don't like that at all, and I'm kind of in a mood where I want to take it easy, you know. Having lost everything again, I'm a little salty about that, I will admit. You know, it happens. I know it happens. It happens to everybody. And you just deal with it and go on. But once in a while, you know, having things happen a little too often, you get a little salty. You know, you can't help it. So what I'm going to do now is create another new set of armor. And this set, unlike the last time I went and... Now, last time, what I did was... oh, yeah. Let's get some tools made as well, because I need to replace all of them. Last time, I was enchanting things a little bit at a time as I went. And that's all fine and dandy. But not really my preferred idea, especially since it didn't work out so great. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to get everything fully enchanted, and the armor is going to have, among other things, fire protection 4. Because that will give me a little extra time in the event of a lava incident. You know, it's a funny thing. I've had that happen a few times just this season. And I've got my reaction time down, because the first thing I do is I reach for the lava bucket. I don't panic. I don't go crazy. I reach for the water bucket, excuse me. And that gets me out of trouble most of the time. But not this time. Yeah. Wait a minute. Shulker box. And I'm just going to throw all this stuff in there. And the plan is, I'm going to get all this stuff made up. I'm going to get my trade goods put together. And then I'm going to head over to iTrade, and I'm going to trade up for all the books I need for all this stuff. And then I'm going to head to an XP farm, and I'm going to grab up the necessary XP to get all of the enchantments applied to everything at the same time. Not only that, but I have also put in I've got an open order out. I've put out an open order for 10 stacks of blaze rods, because with blaze rods I can go ahead and start making potions of fire resist, which will also be very helpful in the event of lava incidents. And I mean, normally I prefer to have a couple of those things with me when I'm mining anyway, and I've never gotten around to it so far this season, so that's going to get fixed. In the meanwhile, I'm going to be spending the next, I don't know how long, probably several hours, farming up enough trade goods. And yes, I know you can buy trade goods as an extra item that you can get over at iTrade, and I know, I figure why not? I'm going to go ahead and produce my own because I prefer to do it that way. So, yeah, 2 stacks of the trade goods of each, that should, plus the paper, should trade me enough emeralds to get all of the enchanted books I want. The only thing that I can't get is a book for Aqua Affinity, because as of the last time I was at iTrade, there is not a villager there that sells it, which is kind of a bummer, but what are you going to do? So, because I'm just going to deal, because I do not feel like playing with the stupid randomness of enchanting tables. No, that randomness is so totally and completely wrong. If you got enough going on to enchant something, then you got enough going on to know what that enchant is going to be, to select it and pay whatever cost in XP it is, you know. I would be perfectly happy if it was like that, especially even if it was as much as twice as expensive, you know, 2 or maybe even 3 times as expensive if you could choose the enchantment. I would be very much in favor of that. But what are you going to do? Yeah. Is Mojang going to do that? Probably not. Anyway, I am off to harvesting the farms and the tree farms and so on until I have enough stuff to go to iTrade. Okay, it's a few hours later, and this system has completely filled. Even the topmost hopper is full now. And so what I want to do is see how long it's going to take for the smelting to catch up with production. In other words, for it to get back to the point where it waits between each time, and so on. Now, I've also gone ahead and replaced the fuel in each furnace with a bucket of lava. Lava is good for 100 smelts per item, per bucket. And so, that means the first 1,600 pieces of dried kelp will be pretty much lava powered. All right, get this started going. Let it go up there and get full and start running its thing. And let's see, make sure that's empty. And I want to see how much kelp I get out of this thing. Well, I know it's going to be 1,600 with the lava, but after that I'm going to put a block, well, a stack of dried kelp blocks in each furnace. So I'll put 16 stacks in the fueling cart and send it out. Okay. And note, all 16 furnaces are working, so my change with the lever is the solution. And so now I'm going to let this run and just see how it goes, because I know this thing is smelting faster than the kelp has grown. I just want to see how much faster. All right, this thing has just reached a point after, well, it started at 546 and it's 641 now, and it reached the point where the bottom hopper is empty and it's waiting for that to fill. Along the way, as the hoppers emptied out, I replaced every other one with a double chest, which will massively increase its storage capacity. And so far, I've got this in here, plus these blocks that I made up when this chest got full. So there's still a stack here and 2 stacks in the hoppers. So it's still got 3 stacks of kelp to smelt before it's finished smelting all of that. But yeah, not bad. At a cost so far of 1 bucket of lava and 10 dried kelp blocks so far. Figure Every 20, there's 3 stacks. We're looking at about 9 or 10 more dried kelp blocks to be used up while smelting. So not bad at all. Can't wait to see how much I get out of it when I let the thing fill up completely next time. In any event, I have reached that point at which it is necessary to head over to iTrade and start trading with villagers to get the emeralds in order to get the books that I want with a full armor set and everything. So I'm off to do that. Alright, I'm back from iTrade and I'll get to the results of that in a moment. But first, the furnaces have all stopped. You notice there's some in here, and that's because this is full and these are full because that's full. I had these up to 64, a full stack of dried kelp blocks after I ran the bucket of lava for each furnace. So that's 19 blocks of dried kelp per furnace that were used in creating all this. The dried kelp blocks that I had before, I went ahead and put up in here, the 4.5 stacks. This is what I've made so far since I started the smelter going. Now if I go ahead and take this stuff and get it blockified, throw it all in here, and there's a bunch of it in there that's going to have to work its way through. But as you can see, this works out to a decent amount of fuel. Great. If I just go along here, you know what? I'm not even going to bother with it. It'll get there. It looks like it's already almost there. Okay. All right. Not bad. Not bad at all. Okay, now, with the addition of this little trip to iTrade, I managed to trade up about 9 stacks of emeralds, and then I went through all of them, getting a bunch of Fortune 1 books for the pickaxe, Protection 4 for the armor. None of those villagers in there had fire protection, so I'm just going with Protection 4. It's the best I can do. And I have enough unbreaking books for everything, and then of course I've got some bows to combine and whatnot to get my bow up and going and so on. I'm still going to have to farm up more trade goods and make another trip over to iTrade, because I still haven't got the respiration books or the thorns books or the sharpness 5 or any of that good stuff for the rest of the stuff. All I have now is the mending books, the unbreaking, and a few of the others that will get things going. I have yet, of course, to anvil all that stuff together. What I need to do is to take a few anvils and all these books and that armor and head over to an XP farm and worry about that and use that to put it all together. But that's not going to happen tonight, because I've been doing this all afternoon and early evening. And I would take care of him, but I don't have a sword right now. Anyway, yeah, it's been one of those days. And yeah, I'm sorry it's taken me 2 days to get this video out, but yesterday was just not going to happen because, well, yeah, the salt was real. The salt was definitely real. Anyway, after messing with villager trading and growing stuff and babysitting crops and whatnot all day, I'm done. And so by the time you see this, it will be the third day since, you know, I was going to get this up today, but it's too late at night, so it'll be up in the morning tomorrow. And I will continue working to get all this stuff put together, and I'm not going on another mining trip until I have everything put together. And hopefully that will also include potions of fire resistance, because that's a good idea. And like I said, I've got an open order out for 32, that I will happily pay 32 diamonds for 10 stacks of blaze rods. I'm sure somebody's going to be interested in taking me up on that. I think that's a pretty doggone good offer, don't you? In any event, I've had it for today. Thanks for watching. Take it easy. I am out of here.